My fiancé humiliated me in front of her entire family by calling me a little boy who needs his mommy. So I walked away from our engagement, took back my money, and built a better life with my mother's support. I 29 male, software engineer at a medium technology company. Not Google, but a respectable salary of about 115 kilograms per year. Rachel, my fiancée, is a yoga instructor on a part-time basis. Earns $25 annually. 3 years had passed and we had only been engaged for 6 months. 25 people were present for her parents' anniversary dinner on Saturday when the incident occurred. The entire family, including her parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Context: my mother and I are close. When I was 16, my father passed away, and my mother raised me and my sister alone. She lives 40 minutes away and is now 62. I pay her a lunchtime visit every Sunday, assist with housework, and accompany her to doctor's appointments when necessary. I thought normal stuff for a son. Rachel always made insignificant remarks about it. Is it necessary for you to see her every Sunday? Or is it possible for her to hire someone to fix her fence? However, I assumed she was simply adjusting to the situation. After all, we were going to get married. As a result, anniversary dinner. Bradley, Rachel's cousin, was boasting about his new Tesla, his promotion, and his upcoming trip to Bali. Rachel's aunt turns to me as everyone congratulates him. So, how are you doing? According to Rachel, you work with computers. Rachel chuckled before I could respond. Unpleasant laughter. That cruel laugh that makes you sick to your stomach. He does okay. But he's just a young boy who needs to be with his mom. Hurries to her every Sunday as if on autopilot. Cannot make a decision without first calling her. In essence, I am marrying a child. The whole table remained silent. Rachel was on a roll, so her mother tried to change the subject. He actually skipped our date night the previous week because his mother needed help moving a couch. A chair? And let's not talk about how much money he spends on her. New refrigerator here, auto repairs there. I keep telling him that will stop once we get married. I won't ever have to compete with his mother in any way. Melissa, her sister, laughed. I wish you luck with that. The boys of Mama never change. Rachel responded, Oh, I'll change him. Mommy dearest is cut off once we get married and I run the money. He'll see her on vacation like everyone else. As I processed what I was hearing, I sat there with a pasta fork halfway in my mouth. This woman, whom I had been financially supporting for the previous 2 years, drove the car I had purchased for her, and lived in the apartment I had paid for, was calling me a child in front of her entire family. I said quietly, You are correct. Smirking, Rachel turned to face me. See, he even acknowledges it. You are absolutely correct. No, I am merely a young boy who requires his mother. And what's more, it is wrong for young boys to marry. I got up and set my napkin down on the table. I said to her parents, Thank you for dinner. I left. Happy anniversary. Before I reached my car, my phone began to explode. Text messages from Rachel, such as, Baby, come back. You're embarrassing me. If you leave, we're done. To, I was just joking. I sent a text back once. We are finished now. After that, I drove to my mother's house. When she saw me, she was surprised. It was a Saturday night at 8 p.m. I received tea. Waited until I was ready to talk before asking questions. She was quiet for a while when I told her what had happened. She finally stated, I never liked her. I kept my mouth shut because you seemed content. Though, why did you not enjoy her? When she came over, she never once offered to help. Nothing was brought to Sunday lunch. Never expressed gratitude. She would also roll her eyes whenever you gave me a goodbye hug. Although they are minor, they add up. I remained overnight in my previous room. Woke up on Sunday morning knowing exactly what I had to do. Change 1. It was a fascinating Monday. When I knew Rachel would be at her yoga class, I called in sick to work and drove to the apartment at 10 a.m. Packed all of my possessions. Honestly, not much at all. My work gear, personal documents, and gaming equipment. All of the furniture was mine. I purchased it, but I returned it. Longed for a fresh start. Aside from one thing, The 65-inch OLED TV I purchased 3 months ago. That accompanied me. Petty? Perhaps. Satisfying? Absolutely. I left a note and my key. Through the month's end, rent is paid. After that, you are responsible for it. Both the internet and the power company account are in my name. Friday, I will cancel them. Best of luck. Everything was moved to my mother's house. She had cleared out the wreckage room in the basement for me. At 29, it's not ideal, but it's better than living with someone who made me feel badly in public. When Rachel got home, I was gone. The calls began right away, with 18 in the first hour. Then sends a text asking, "This is laughable. You cannot simply leave. We must speak. I was making fun. You're reacting too fast. Please respond to me. Please answer the phone." The tone then changed. "How should I pay my rent? You can't just walk away from me. I'll be homeless. You are abusing me financially." Actually, that last one made me laugh. Financial exploitation. For 2 years, I had been covering 80% of our expenses. She showed up at my workplace on Tuesday. She was refused entry by security. A badge is needed. However, she waited for 3 hours in the lobby. I worked the rest of the day from home after exiting through the back door. The actual panic set in on Wednesday. She seemed to have just realized that I was serious. Chloe, her friend, contacted me. "You must speak with Rachel." I don't know. She's a disaster. She hasn't eaten. She hasn't slept. And her crying during classes could cost her her job. That seems like a problem she has. How come you're so chilly? Together for 3 years. When she called me a young boy in front of her entire family on Saturday night, inquire about how chilly she was. She did not intend to. You are aware of Rachel's state. Sometimes she just talks without thinking. Exactly. She can now contemplate what she said without my presence. I was hung up on by Chloe. Things started to get interesting on Thursday. Frank, Rachel's father, contacted me. Frank works for others. A decent man. I was always treated well. "Son, I'm not calling to argue Rachel's point. That wasn't right.
I'm grateful.
However, it seems extreme to end a 3-year relationship over a single comment. With all due respect, Frank, it wasn't just one comment. She told your entire family that she planned to control my finances and cut off my mother once we got married. That is not a companion. That is a tyrant." He was silent. She then stated that, "Ask anybody who attended. That must have escaped my attention. I was buying more wine in the kitchen. Ask your spouse." Melissa asked. Everyone heard it. Again, a pause. She alone cannot afford that apartment. I know. She will need to return to her home. That probably works out well. You are truly finished. Frank, no counseling, no second chances. She insulted me more than that. She made it clear who she really was. Someone who thinks it's weak that I love my mother. Someone who believes that I will be controlled by marriage. Someone who entertains themselves by humiliating me in public. Why would I agree to that for the rest of my life? He exhaled. "Son, I can't say I blame you. Give yourself a break." I receive a text message that evening from Melissa, Rachel's sister. "This weekend, she will move back home. I hope you are content." I replied via text. "I'm making progress." Second update. Rachel and her parents moved back in. I know this because she attempted to portray it as self-care and family time in her Instagram post. She had to admit that we had broken up when someone asked about the wedding, and the comments were supportive. The narrative then changed. On her social media, she claimed that I was emotionally unavailable, codependent with my mother, and unwilling to mature. She portrayed herself as the victim who had exerted such effort to assist me in becoming a man. I simply watched and took screenshots of everything instead of responding or posting anything. In the meantime, my mother was overjoyed to have me around. Despite the circumstances, I'm happy for the business. I helped her properly renovate the basement, installing a mini kitchen, painting new flooring, and so on. It was worth the $8 all-in price. My own space as I considered the next steps. The group of Rachel's friends started contacting her, not to reconcile, but to request money. It appears that I had been funding their entire social circle without realizing it. I paid when Rachel and I went out. I took care of her portion at group dinners we had together. I paid her portion for the summer rental of the beach house, concert tickets, wine tours, and escape rooms. Through her, I had been the unnoticed supporter of her entire circle of friends. She couldn't do anything at the moment, and they were realizing that the welfare train had stalled. Victoria, her best friend, actually had the audacity to send me $300 via Venmo to pay for Rachel's bachelorette party next month. Along with the note, I declined. Little boys lack financial resources. Ask her father and mother. But Tuesday was the actual explosion. Rachel found out that I had taken out my share of the wedding deposits. We had reserved a caterer, photographer, and venue. $8,500 in deposits were made. I had spent $7,000. She had spent $1,500. Monday, I informed all 3 vendors of the situation by calling them. My money was refunded, minus a small cancellation fee, by the photographer and venue. The caterer could transfer the deposit to another event, but they were unable to refund it. As a result, I used it to cater my mother's upcoming 63rd birthday party, which will have 60 guests, a full meal, and an open bar. Mom was overjoyed. Neither was Rachel. She called from the phone of her father. That number was not blocked by me. You took the money from our wedding. I ceased making contributions. Your $1,500 remains present. If they don't get $5,000 more, the venue will cancel. Next, pay it. How much money? The money you will save by keeping control of my finances. Remember? Wait, what? After we got married, that was... I guess you'll have to come up with another solution. You are harming me by doing this. No, I'm doing this with my own money. Remember that I'm just a young boy? Wedding planning should not be done by young boys. Please stop hurling that at me. A single comment. One statement that made everything clear. Rachel, you told your family that you would take control of my money and cut off my mother. Because I loved my mother, you called me a child. You and your sister laughed at me. After that, in what universe would I wed you? I was making fun. Talk was all it was. The purpose of jokes is to be funny. Except for you and Melissa, nobody else was laughing. Isn't it true that this is about your mother? I never won her over. She is poisoning you for my benefit. You have not received a single negative comment from my mother. She is not required to. The work was done by your own words. I called the wedding venue 20 minutes after she hung up on me. They are currently processing my refund and confirming the cancellation. It would appear that Rachel was unable to cover the remaining deposit. The photographer then called. Same circumstance. The caterer contacted me to confirm the birthday party's details and express gratitude for my continued patronage. Patricia, Rachel's mother, called that evening. She was not understanding, unlike Frank. My daughter is being destroyed by your pride. With her cruelty, your daughter destroyed our relationship. The wedding had to be canceled for her. That is humiliating, don't you know? Do you remember how humiliating it was to be referred to as a young boy in front of your entire family? She was merely joking. She shows her affection in this manner. By planning to control my finances and keep me away from my mother. That shows love. Her words are being twisted by you. You, Patricia, were there. You listened to everything. Even though you were aware that it was inappropriate, you attempted to shift the conversation. Silence. She is my child. I have to stand up for her. I get it. She's now your problem. I wish you luck with that. Third update. The entitlement increased precisely as expected. Rachel set up a GoFundMe account. Help me rebuild after being abused financially. Her target was $10,000. I was depicted in the description as a manipulative man who had enslaved her financially and then abandoned her without warning. She claimed that I made her work part-time so that she would be dependent on me. She rejected full-time employment because it would drain her spiritual energy and constitutes corporate slavery. She claimed that I had cut her off from money. In point of fact, she had complete access to her own accounts. She simply never invested in them because she had access to mine. She claimed that I had taken wedding funds that should have been hers. In point of fact, I had withdrew exactly what I had contributed. She received $200 from her mother and $50 from her aunt from the GoFundMe campaign. The employment saga followed. Rachel had not updated her resume in 3 years when she applied for full-time positions. Without asking, she listed me as a reference. I was sincere when employers called me. How long have you been friends with Miss Morrison? Personally, 3 years. What can you tell us about her dedication to her job? Since I have never worked professionally with her, I am unable to comment on that. As a professional reference, she listed you. That is not true. We had a personal connection. I've never worked with her or been her boss. 3 distinct employers contacted me. Each time, the same conversation. None of the jobs were offered to her. Her dad called once more. She claims that you are hindering her job search. Frankly, without asking, she listed me as a professional reference. I admitted to them that I had never collaborated with her. What exactly is sabotage? She claims that you are disparaging her. Because I had never worked with her, I specifically stated that I could not speak to her professional abilities. That is the opposite of slandering someone. Could you just assist her? Give her a solid recommendation. So, you want me to lie to people who might hire me? Silence. Son, she is desperate. She is 27 years old, has never worked, and lives with her parents. And who is to blame for that? The way she chose to live her life is not my fault. In the interim, I was doing well. I was able to save an additional $2,000 per month by not having to spend money on Rachel. I started an investment portfolio, paid off my car loan early, and assisted my mother in replacing her old windows with energy-efficient ones. Even so, it wasn't bad to live with Mom. We were respectful of one another's privacy and shared separate areas. I prepared dinner 3 times per week. She cooked 3 nights, and on Sundays, we ordered takeout. Actually, it was nice. After that, Rachel dealt her final card. She showed up on a Sunday afternoon at my mother's house. She was not alone. She brought Melissa and her parents. She probably thought it was 4 against 2. Mom responded to the door. Mrs. We need to speak with Garrett Thompson. Dear, he doesn't want to see you. This is my house, and it's in between us. You are not permitted here. I approached the door at that point. Mom, it's okay. Let's take her word for it. This had clearly been practiced by Rachel. I'm here to apologize, Garrett. I made a mistake by saying those things. I was intoxicated. I was exaggerating. I was naive. Give us another chance, please. You weren't inebriated. You consumed 1 wine glass. Okay. However, I was anxious. I felt insecure because Bradley was boasting. Therefore, in an effort to improve your self-esteem, you dismissed me. I did not intend to. Which section? What about the part about me being a young boy? What about the part about managing my finances? The part about cutting off my mother's voice? Which portion did you not intend? Melissa swam in. Oh my God, it was just talk between girls. Every woman has a problem with her partner. At a formal dinner to their entire family. You're used to it. Patricia followed suit. Rachel adores Garrett. She committed an error. That must be worthy of forgiveness. She has my forgiveness. I'm not retracting that in any way. Frank finally spoke. What would be required? Counseling? She will attend counseling. She cannot do anything. She revealed her true identity to me. She has my faith. Rachel began to weep. I'm losing everything because of one stupid comment. Finally, my mother spoke up. You have ruined your own life, young lady. You were loved, supported, and would have given anything to a good man. Additionally, you mocked his devotion to his mother. What sort of woman would do that? Would you have been a good wife? What kind of mother would you be if you criticized your own children for overloving you? That really hurt. Rachel became pale in the face. Get off my property, said Mom, and do not return. You are less deserving than my son. They fled. Rachel was in tears. Patricia was angry. Frank appeared to be defeated. Additionally, Melissa was ranting about emotional manipulation and toxic masculinity. 2 days ago, that was. Last update. 6 weeks have passed since the dinner for the anniversary. Life has progressed in surprising ways. Rachel got a full-time job at a gym, not as a front desk instructor, making $15 an hour and offering no benefits. Yoga poses and motivational quotes were replaced by complaints about corporate slavery and a toxic work environment on her Instagram. The entitlement remains, but it is targeted at new goals. She continues to live with her parents. Frank told me that we still talk from time to time. He does work on her house, which is a nightmare for her. She expects her mom to do her laundry, cook, and clean her room, and she throws tantrums when asked to help with housework. She acts as though they are stealing from her because they are charging her $500 per month for rent. He stated last week, "We created a monster. Patricia cared for her, I supported it, and you paid for it. We are all now bearing the cost. Excluding you. You got away." The group of friends collapsed. They wouldn't have been able to afford their lifestyle if I hadn't accidentally subsidized their activities. They attacked Rachel, claiming that she had misplaced their meal ticket. The actual quote that Victoria returned to me. With the exception of Melissa, who appears to be just as entitled, she is now virtually alone. The best part. Bradley, Rachel's cousin, the golden boy on vacation in Bali who drove a Tesla and boasted about it all. He split from his girlfriend last week. Why is that? She realized Bradley had the same entitled attitude after seeing how Rachel treated me at the dinner. "I saw your cousin destroy her relationship with her ego, and you're exactly like her," she said directly to him. "I'm out." Rachel's drama had a negative impact on Bradley's relationship, Bradley claimed. They no longer speak. Regarding myself, I'm doing well. Started dating a new person. Lauren, who works as a nurse at the hospital where Mom had knee surgery a month ago. I met her while I was at Mom's post-op. Lauren adores my close relationship with my mother. She said it shows character. Men who value their mothers make excellent partners. We are taking it slowly, but it is good for us. She is in charge of her own life, money, and apartment. We divided the dates 50-50ths. She actually helps cook and comes to Mom's Sunday lunches on occasion. She is adored by Mom. Last week, I found my own place to live. Nice location, 2 bedrooms, and a reasonable rent. The next month, move in. Mom is happy for me, but she is sad to lose her life and her handyman. I said I would still be there for repairs and Sunday lunch. The $2,000 I was spending on Rachel each month. I want to assist my mother in early retirement, so half goes to savings and the other half to Mom. She has put in enough effort. Instead of retiring at 67, the woman Rachel wanted to cut off will retire at 64. I'm saving money by not spending it on an entitled partner. Last week, Rachel sent me a text. One message only. "I hope you are content." I replied, "And I am. I hope you will one day be." I was then blocked by her. Goodbye, everyone. That anniversary dinner turned out to be the best thing that could have happened. I was able to clearly see Rachel for who she really was. There were no marriage years before the mask fell off. There were no children involved, and there was no messy divorce. All I wanted was a clean break from someone who thought my love for my mother was weak. The little boy who needed his mommy. He is doing very well. It turns out that loving your mother is not a sign of weakness at all. Additionally, it is not worth having a partner who does not comprehend that. Lauren, according to Mom, knows that. We'll see how it develops. I will, however, never again allow anyone to make fun of me for loving my family. That cannot be changed. Little boy, thank you for reading. I'll now conclude.